Great. Okay, so once we're logged into AVA, what we come to typically is our home screen here. So as you can see, AVA is a modular platform. We've got various different modules, each of which provide a different sort of service when we're looking at recording different types of things in AVA. So we can capture events, we can capture actions, engagements, we can schedule certain engagements, actions, etc. We can capture statistics that relate to particular periods, so things like head counts, hours worked, and we can also administer the system provided that we have those privileges as well. What I'll do before we take a look at any of those particular elements of the system is just do a quick guide in terms of navigation around AIRSweb and how we get from one point to the next. So obviously we're on the home page here. At any point, any time within the system, you'll always see this light grey bar across the top of the screen, and this will allow you to navigate through the system. The home button on the top left will at any point in time bring you back to the home page. You've got a modules keypad here, and if we click on that, you'll see we've got access to all of the different modules within the system, as well as dashboards, reports, and my tasks, which we'll come back to in just a moment. We've got a quick search bar in the top here, so using this we can search for a particular record if we know the ID of that record, or we can search for key phrases that exist within particular records as well. Along the top here as well, we've got my saved queries. Again, when we look at actual creating queries and reports out of the system, you'll see that we'll be able to save queries going forward and look at these, refer back to these quickly by clicking on my queries and rerunning any queries that you've got saved. We also publish our release notes as well. So AVA is a software as a service platform, which means that we are regularly producing new software releases. When we do, you'll notice that that little green circle appears in front of the release notes bin there in order to indicate that there are new release notes for you to review should you wish to. We've also got an ideas portal through which clients and users can submit ideas about how the system can be improved and enhanced going forward. Top right, we've got my details. If we click on this, we can see some details around who I am as a user. Because I'm a system admin, I've got a few additional privileges in here, such as delete list and label cache and in-page translations. But general users from here can either log out of the system, or they can actually manage their landing page, which means they can configure where it is they go to when they log into the system next time. So some users like to set this up and say that they'd like to go directly to their dashboards or to my tasks. And we've got a couple of different views within there as well when we get to my tasks. Okay, so on the main home screen, as I said before, we've got dashboards. And I don't have any set up at the moment, but what dashboards will be is your own kind of customized reporting suite, which, as I say, you can configure and manage yourselves. And we'll take a look at how to actually build those dashboards a little later on as well. Reports will be your PDF versions of dashboards. So using reports, we can create printable dashboards that you can obviously print out, distribute, share with other people should you need to. And my tasks is a list of, or essentially a resource that lets users know any tasks that they have to perform within the system. So any engagements that are assigned to you, any actions that are assigned to you, or any events that you've been assigned to investigate perhaps or sign off will appear as a list here in my tasks. You can filter the tasks that you've got to perform in the system by which module they originate from. And you can see any recent activity that you've done on the right hand side. So any records that you've performed an action on or interacted with will appear on the right hand side here. We can also switch from the list to the calendar view. So we can see here I've got a view that tells me I've got a particular observation to perform, or that I should have performed on the 12th of November. And we've also got an incident or event that was raised on the 12th of November as well. So you can see any records that you've got to perform. So actions, due dates will show up on the calendar. Any engagements with their due dates will show up on the calendar as well. Below each of these, you'll also see a couple of icons as well. So from here, we can go directly to add a new event, query events, or show the summaries for events. Again, we've got the same icons below actions, engagements as well. Engagements, you've also got a module admin tool, and what this allows system admins to do is to actually administer the templates that we use within engagements. So we'll take a look at that a little later on. Okay, we'll take a look first of all into the events module. So I'll click on the events tile here. And this will bring me up to a page here which gives me some basic information around the sort of thing that's going on within the world of events. Now, one key thing to point out here is that the system automatically recognizes a user's permissions, and it will only show them data that is relevant to them. So at present, I am pinned at the very top of what we call the system hierarchy, which means I've got a view of all of the data that exists within the system. However, if we had a user who was pinned lower down the hierarchy, so potentially at a particular region or division, or even at a particular reporting point within the system, they would only ever see data that related to their level. So different users will have slightly different views, and we make sure that users only ever see data that is relevant to them. Anytime that we see tiles like number tiles or graph tiles in the system, these are what we call drillable as well, which means that we can click on any of these numbers. So for instance, I could click on this number 2 here, and the system will show me the records which make up that particular number. So here we can see the 2 records in events which are awaiting investigation. Same with graphs as well. If I wanted to see occupational illnesses which had been reported in October, I could click on this section of the graph, and the system will bring me to those particular records. Down here at the bottom as well, we've just got the latest events that have been recorded, again in my area of the system. Across the top again, we've also got the summary page, which will give us a slightly different breakdown of data that has been recorded in events, as well as the option to go to the query and filter the events which have been recorded in the system, which again we'll take a look at a little later on.